Barou easily burst through his stratum with ease, and Shidou was the sole survivor of his stratum. Shidou joined forces with Naohaya and Nishioka and faced a team of Yukimiya, Ishikari, and another person, and they lost, meaning Nishioka was taken. Shidou and Naohaya joined forces to take on Isagi and Nagi, and select Nagi, meaning Isagi would be sent down to the wild card. We would get Shidou, Naohaya, and Nagi versus Ryo, Kunigami, and Chigiri, and I believe Nagi and Shidou would pop off in this game to win. As if Shidou could carry Igaguri to beat Ryo and Kunigami, there should be a piece of cake with Nagi. This would mean the duo of Ryo and Kunigami would face off against Barou and Igaguri. With Ryo and Kunigami securing the W, Igaguri goes to the wild card. The third selection would go the same, but Naohaya and Team A in Isagi's spot, and Kunigami joins Team B, hoping to work with Chigiri again. The U20 match ended with IQ's header thanks to Sai's assist, meaning they won 5-6. BLUELOCK dies, but thanks to the power of fan service, part 3 is here. But there is a punishment still in place, being only the 14 players who touched the pitch in BLUELOCK will play in the NEL, since those were the only players the fans saw. So 2 weeks after the best match in soccer manga history occurred, we would get the U20 players who played as well joining the 14 BLUELOCKers, meaning 25 players entering because Saitoshi wouldn't be there. Ego would announce the lone survivor joining the wild card, being Yoriichi Isaki. If it wasn't obvious enough, Shidou is in Ubers, Barou is in P.X.G. This time, it would be Isagi sneaking into the top 11, since he would have better specs, not as good as Kunigami, but just good enough to get him in. But at this stage, he would already have his lefty shot, as the point of the wildcard training was to make a Noah copy man, which meant the survivor needed to acquire some ambidextrability. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Barou would actually have a starting 11 role, as Snuffy wouldn't be there to bench him, and the only reason he did was because he reminded him of Big Moon. And Shidou would also start because Shidou would accept the role of being the successor of Snuffy and Ubers to score lots and lots of goals. We would also see Kaiser not fixated on Isagi as much, as he didn't play in the exhibition match, and Isagi wouldn't be emo like Kunigami, because unlike Kunigami, who had to destroy himself completely for the first time in his life and becoming something he hates, Isagi has been doing this throughout his whole journey. And low-key, Isagi is an evil person. Kunigami is not. Kunigami is trying to be something he's not. Isagi, he will finally get to embody his evil personality to the fullest in that wild card training. So this is nothing new for him. With everything set in stone, it's time for the games to begin. We will start with Bastard Merchant versus Barcha, with Kaiser commencing the play. With Kaiser passing it to Ness, who passes it to Grim, who sends it to Gesner, who passes it straight to Isagi, who would use his spatial awareness to get himself in a better position than Kunigami did in Canon, to get himself open for a direct lefty shot to score, making the score 1-0. Ness would get pissed that he didn't bow to Kaiser, ensuring that war would come between the factions. In the other match, Rin would use his oscillation breakthrough to blitz past the Ubers midfield and send a pass back to Charles, and would position himself in the perfect spot to score. But Charles would send a pass to Rin, but it's stopped by Lorenzo. He would use his zombie dribbling to ascend up the field, with Karasu telling everyone to mark their attackers, and he would hold off Lorenzo, the biggest license to fight Kage. If you know, you know. He would blitz past Karasu and make it seem like he was going for a shot instead of a pass, but he would pass it to the zesty demon Ryusei Shidou, a dragon diver header to open up the scoring for Ubers 1-0. The birth of the zombie demon duo would be born. Rin and Karasu would have imputed their plan, promising it won't happen a second time. We would resume kickoff with Rin passing it to Charles and making another one, but this time it goes a bit further than Rin, with Starving Lion Barou, who would dash past Rin and Lorenzo. Ryu and some other fathers would hold him long enough just for IQ to appear. He would send the ball to Lorenzo and he would run the same play and send a long pass to Shidou, but it's intercepted by Karasu, who sends a pass to Charles and another one to Rin, who uses Barou as a shield to use a stealth kill shot, equalizing the game 1-1 apiece. Meanwhile, in the other game, Ness would fake out some Barcha players and send a perfect pass to Kaiser, who introduces the BLUELOCKers to the world's fastest swing shot in the world, Kaiser Impact, making the score 2-1 in Bastard Merchant's favor, leading to Lavino and Noah entering the pitch. Meanwhile, we would see Charles send a wicked pass to Barou, but IQ would be in front of him, but Karasu jumps for the ball, making a pass to Rin, who has Lorenzo marking him, but Barou sneaks in behind Rin and devours him to score his own goal 2-1. We cut back to the Bastard Merchant match with Noah scoring a thunderous goal over Lovino to seal the win for Bastard Munchen 3-2, showing why he's the #1 striker. Then Igor would explain the bidding system and BLUELOCK TV component of the NEL. Then it would cut to the PXG versus Ubers match, with Rin scoring the final goal, making it 3-2 in PXG's favor for the win. Bastard Munchen versus Manshine City would start with the same lineups. The Bastard Munchen game would start with P.X.G stealing Kaiser's ball, and then Whale catches onto him and sends the pass to Chigiri, who scores with his new 44 Golden Panthers night, making the score 1-0 in their favor. We cut over to the other game with Shidou scoring a goal, making it 1-0 for Ubers. The match restarts and Barcha passes it to Otoya, but Nico blitzes him and sends the ball to Sendo, who attempts to shoot but is stopped by Derai. But Shidou would pick up the rebound and score a second goal for them, making it 2-0 in their favor. In the other game, Kaiser had just scored a devastating Kaiser impact from Stephen Curry range to make the score 1-1. P.X.G would then figure out metavision from dissecting that play thoroughly. We would then see Manshine City restart, but P.X.G is there to stop Nike, and he starts using metavision to start making a two-man team with Corona to cook the whole Manshine team. And with better shooting specs, when Kaiser would come to interfere, P.X.G is still able to make that shot, making the score 2-1 in Bastard Munchen's favor. Meanwhile, in the other game, Nico sends a pass to Shidou to finish off the game, but Moro barely saves it, and Barcha receives the ball, and Whale receives the ball in the other match. And Barcha nutmegs past Sendo, and Whale passes it to Nagi, who does a heel flick over Ali and Grim to Whale, and Barcha does a heel flick over Nico and uses Ginga to lure out Abdi and Rico. Whale dribbles past Corona, making Bastard's defense all get ready to jump the duo. Meanwhile, Barcha dribbles past Drago and Perron. Whale beats Mensa and sends a pass to Nagi and sends one back to Whale, with Birkenstock on him. Nagi traps the ball, but P.X.G and Kaiser are there. Barcha has finally passed through the fodder, but Lorenzo is there as well. Nagi sends the pass back to Whale and one past P.X.G to challenge him. Lorenzo would try to steal it from Barcha, but Barcha slid the ball to his left. Lorenzo would use his insane leg specs to keep up. Barcha would then boost the tempo to use a double gear touch to glitch past Lorenzo, but Lorenzo would still be right on him, leaving Barcha in shock, forcing him to send a heel flick pass to Nagi, who receives it and does his first feint and does another one over P.X.G to Lala, who has Ryu on him, and passes it to Nagi, who receives a third feint on Kaiser, sending the ball in the air as it reaches Barcha with Lorenzo still on him, but fakes a shot on himself and sends it to Nagi, who fakes out P.X.G again, sending the ball in the air, and it reaches Otoya, who's snuck by IQ thanks to Barcha's distraction, and sends a final pass to Barcha, and him and Nagi jumps in the air and scores a 5-fold revolutionary volley and an epic chemical bee monster, both at the same time, making it 2-1 in Uber's favor and 2-2 equalizer in the Manshine versus Bastard Munchen game. This goal would leave Nagi in a funk of not knowing what to do now that he has beaten P.X.G and Barcha, with hope that they can complete a comeback against Ubers. Chris Prince and Noah would then have entered the game. The game would restart, and then the game would continue with Kaiser facing off against Chris in a 1v1, using a double touch to get past him, but Chris is still there. Then he uses a slide to protect the ball in his grasp, making a vortex that no one could enter. Kaiser would then use a double touch nutmeg, and Chris would immediately respond with a heavy shoulder block. Noah would come in trying to get the ball, but Whale gets there first, and Chigiri would get there aiming to use his 44-degree zone, but is cut off by Yukimiya. Chigiri does a feint cut to get in to try and score, but Kaiser stops him just in time. Chris would then get the ball being cut off by Noah, but was prepared for it with his new knuckleball shot that he doesn't even know where it's going. P.X.G and Gargamel would team up, giving us the iconic Phil Jones memes in BLUELOCK. The game would go the same as in canon, with Yukimiya blitzing the whole Manshine defense, attempting to score with his gyro shot, but is stopped by Chris. Then we would get Whale's fake shot turned into a pass for Nagi's black hole trap, only to be stopped by P.X.G, who makes his legendary chemical reaction run with Noah and Corona, but is stopped by Kaiser. But P.X.G uses his sunken ship Yukimiya to score the final goal, 3-2, saving Yukimiya's career to pause. On the other hand, it shows Shidou completing the hat-trick with a dragon drive to win the game 3-1 for Ubers. P.X.G falls down 10 hours later, waking up to see the new rankings and revealing that the #1 person is the one who sent him to hell, Ryusei Shidou. Isagi would ask for the recordings, getting ready to go get revenge on the demon. The Boston Munchen vs Ubers game would kick off like in canon, with Kaiser immediately going for a Kaiser impact, but Lorenzo is there to stop him and dribbles past the whole Boston Munchen team and passes it very high in the air for Shidou to use a Dragon Driver to score the first goal of the match. Meanwhile, in the other match, Shigui would dribble past Barou, Karasu, and Charles to get a 44-degree Panther shot to score in Manshine's favor 1-0. On the other side, Corona would then send a pass to Isagi, who was pressed by Lorenzo, taking into account both of Isagi's legs since he saw the lefty shot in Barcha's match. So Isagi would then turn around, leaving Ness in shock with a direct left back heel shot, leaving everyone in shock, equalizing the game 1-1. Charles would then pass to Rin, who would score a menacing mid-range shot to equalize the game 1-1. Sendo would send a pass to Shidou, but it would be intercepted by Isagi, who is ripped off by Nico, who brings the ball up and passes it to Shidou, who passes it back to Nico, who passes it back to Shidou, who snuck through the wall to score a devastating Dragon Driver to score his second goal of the match 2-1. Utilizing a sort of predator shot, instead of having Shidou shoot from beyond the wall, he sneaks in through the wall, and with his unrivaled specs of flexibility, except for Gagamon, he would score an easy goal. We would then see Grim throw the ball to Ness. Without Kunigami to intercept him, he and Ness would trade passes, trying to get the ball to Kaiser, who has Lorenzo locked on him. Nico would come to steal the ball from Ness, but that's what Isagi was counting on as he starts trading his 1-2s with Corona, and would actually be able to beat IQ this time since he has better control over his lefty shot to score his second goal of the match, equalizing the game 2-2. There wouldn't be any master subs because Sendo wouldn't hurt himself trying to stop Kaiser like in canon, but however, further in the game, Corona stamina dims, and this would also be where Fukaku-gen comes in too. But the game would end off in canon with Hiyori assisting Isagi with the no-look shot 3-2 at the end of the day. This would mean Isagi would get a hat-trick to get his revenge against Shidou. Now that's how you write a revenge story. We would also not see Kaiser receiving a bid from La Real, as he wouldn't have scored in the whole game at all, leaving him completely shattered. In the other game, we would see Chigui trying to get another 44-degree Panther shot, but it's intercepted by Charles, and he sends a pass to Rin, but Rayo calls out to Nagi, who fails to stop Rin as Rin traps it and scores to make it 3-1. But he didn't score a hat-trick in canon, because Barou is in Shidou and he would have scored a goal. Nagi would receive back-to-back quotes from Rin and Barou. Now we would get to PXG versus FC Barcha. Rin would send the ball to Cho, who passes it to Charles, who sends a no-interval pass to Rin, who scores to make it 1-0. Then we would see Barou and Karasu sub in. Bachira would pass the ball to Otoya, but Karasu would dispossess him and sends the ball to Charles, who sends it to a Storming Lion header as Barou would score, making it 2-0. Meanwhile, it's 2-1 in Uber's favor as Agi has the ball. Chris tells Agi to send Nagi the ball, which he reluctantly does. Nagi receives it and blitzes through Ayu and Nico, but is shocked by Lorenzo. Nagi freezes until Reo tells him to just shoot it. Nagi does, but it's only to be stopped by IQ. Ayu would send the ball to Nico, who sends it to Shidou and sends it back to Nico, and now back to Lorenzo again, who sends it for an aerial attack to end the game 3-1 with a dragon header, giving Shidou his second hat-trick in the NEL, making him the undeniable goal-scoring king with 10 goals. Nagi would go to him for the advice, and Shidou would say the following: "You're not even explosive as you were in the U20 match, let alone the second or third selection. What's with that? But you asked me what makes me play soccer, right? It's a biological necessity to prove my existence through scoring goals." Nagi would look at him confused. Shidou would continue saying he wouldn't expect Nagi to understand, but he would give him a piece of advice, saying the same thing he told Isagi when he sent him to hell. "People who can't destroy themselves can never create explosions. Unlike the cowlick guy who was able to do it, it seems you just have been pretending to play soccer." Shidou would then walk off to go celebrate with his team. Meanwhile, in the other match, Charles would send a killer pass to Barou, who would smash it in with another header to win the game for PXG 3-2 against FC Barcha, setting the stage for the championship match between PXG versus Boston Munchen. The lineup would be similar to the original story, except Raichi's not here and Kiora as well, so Yukimiya would keep his spot. PXG wouldn't have Nanase, Tokimitsu, or Zantetsu, as they didn't qualify for the NEL. Cho would play left wing with a bunch of fodders taking Tokimitsu and Zantetsu's places. Barou would dive straight into Kaiser in the beginning of the match, and Kaiser would fake him out and send the ball back to Ness and slip by Barou while he was distracted. Ness's pass would get intercepted by Karasu, who gets pressed by Hiyori, who tries to get the ball, but Karasu makes a back pass immediately to Charles, who makes a deadly pass. Isagi marks Rin, but it goes higher for the Lion, who gets a close range shot, but it's deflected by Yukimiya's immersive speed. The ball would be sent in the air, and Mensa clears it to Ness, who starts trading passes with Kaiser, who rushes through Karasu and Cho to try and score with a Kaiser impact, but Rin stops him in his tracks and starts an oscillation to break through the whole Boston Merchant team. He works with Cho to get himself open, but Kaiser gets in his way, but he just drags the ball into a better position, and then Usagi gets in his way, but then Rim grabs him by the collar to score, but that wouldn't be enough time for Hiyori to stop his shot. Karasu would get the ball and do a straight pass between Mensa and Birkenstock for Barou to get the shot, but Gagamal gets the ball first, annoying Barou. People must be wondering why Barou and Charles aren't linking up as well as Shidou and Charles. It's because Shidou and Charles is pure reflexivity, just like Shai and Shidou. Barou doesn't have that flexibility and reflexes that Shidou does to make him score those goals, so Barou wouldn't really work well with Charles. Gagamal would send the ball up to Hiyori, who was caught lacking by Charles. Charles passes it this time to Rin, as he wouldn't be playing favorites this time around, but Yukimiya and Ali would be in his way to slow down Rin's shot course for Gagamal to make a massive save. Gagamal would send the ball, but Cho would receive it and send it to Rin, but Hiyori stops it and passes it to Yukimiya, who passes it to Isagi to complete the 2-gun volley and give Boston Merchant the lead 1-0. Yukimiya would explain his reason for assisting him being that he owed Isagi for assisting him in the Manshine match, and now they are even, so now he declares it's every man for themselves from now on. Rin and Charles would resume kickoff. Charles would ask Loki to sub him out, which distracts Rin, allowing Yukimiya and Hiyori to dispossess him. However, the ball lands to Charles, but is dispossessed by Barou, and he is livid as he witnessed Isagi evolve past him, and is tired of not playing like a king thanks to Rin, and tired of having his plays and goals designed by Charles. He would take charge to design his own play. He would do a heel flick to get past Ness. Grim and Ali would come to press Barou. Barou would pass it to Charles, calling him a limb to support him and tell him to give a super pass. The whole team besides Rin would be his arms and legs, making passes and plays for Barou, believing in Barou's terrifying ego. And Charles' response would be, "It's turning me on!" Yukimiya and Ness try to press Barou, but he sends a back pass to Charles. Yukimiya and Ness would try to press Barou, but he sends a back pass to Charles. But Barou would run past them, and Charles would send a killer pass to him, with Ness and Yukimiya still on his tail. Barou would do a thunder chop to fake them out, and then take a shot, but Hiyori deflects it and Karasu gets it, with Mensa and Birkenstock trying to press him. But he sends it back to Charles, with Rin running to get ready to receive it. Charles passes it, but then Barou takes it, saying he finally has enough. But Barou takes it and looks at Isagi, saying, "So you finally came, loser." And Isagi saying, "Yes, I will crush you, king." And Kaiser saying, "Beat it, Isagi, he's mine." Barou moves around them and figures out the perfect shot course and performs the double nutmeg through Isagi and Kaiser to equalize the game 1-1 for PXG. Noah would then state they need to make a change to benefit Isagi's system to finish off this match, as it's been doing way better than Kaiser's system. So Grim would come out and Corona would come in. So Hiyori on the left wing and Corona as the right back. Kaiser and Ness would start to bulldoze through PXG, as Ness would send a final pass to Kaiser Impact, who would try to score a Kaiser Impact Magnus, but it misses badly. Renoir sends a goal kick and Ness is the first to get it and headers it to Kaiser, who stops the ball to try and get a Kaiser Impact Magnus, but Rin and Isagi stop him, and the ball is sent up in the air, with Barou receiving it and starts dashing, looking to get his second goal, but he is stopped again by the triple pass of Yukimiya, Ali, and Corona. Corona sends the ball to Isagi. Kaiser tries to steal the ball from Isagi with his last attempt of staying the Emperor, but slides off the floor to the dirt, literally. Isagi would get pressed by Karasu, leading to him passing it to Corona and a pass to Hiyori, which is stolen by Kaiser, who does a 1-2 with Ali, but Rin stops him in his tracks. Corona and Ali would stop Rin again. Isagi receives the ball and sends it to Corona, who gets stopped by Cho, who gets dispossessed by Kaiser, who dribbles it through Choppa, but is stopped by Karasu and Rin. Hiyori would receive the ball and sends it to Corona, who sends a final pass to Isagi, who is stopped by Charles, with the ball landing to Ness. Ness sends a pass to Kaizo, who scores in a similar fashion to the Manshine game, making it 2-1. He wouldn't ignore Ness's pass this time because Kiora was there, and the only other good passers that was there was on Isagi's side or an individualistic player like Yukimiya. And thanks to the change room chat, Kaiser would know not to let the ball go to Yukimiya as he wouldn't get the ball back. Ness would start lacing Kaiser, but Kaiser tells him to shush as their duo contract has now been terminated, and Kaiser would tell him to bark at another tree. Kickoff would resume with Rin passing it to Cho and Isagi pressing him, so he tries to pass the ball to Rin, who is stopped by Kaiser. Kaiser gets dispossessed by Barou, leading to Isagi getting the ball, leading to Isagi versus Rin, which ends up badly for Rin as he's sent sliding. Cho steps in to help, but Isagi passes the ball to Corona, who starts a 1-2 with Isagi. However, Rin stops Corona in his tracks as Rin's transformation begins. Rin blitzes through Ali and then uses Yukimiya's 1v1 weapon to destroy him, and then does a perfect rainbow heel flick to get past Hiyori. He blitzes through Mensa. Isagi tries to tackle Rin, but then he realizes he is not that guy. Rin and Kaiser start dueling, but then Isagi intervenes and Ness gets the ball away from Rin and lands to Charles. And it lands to Charles, who passes it to Barou, but Kaiser stops the pass, who rushes through Hiyori and Corona and jumps back to receive a long pass from Cho. With Corona and Ali in his way, he fakes the shot and does a 180 turn around Hiyori to shoot, but stops and tells everyone to offer up their lives for the sake of his goal. But a certain lion intercepts the pass and used Rin as a shield to score a predator shot. But Isagi, Kaiser, and Gagamaru would all team up just to save that shot. But it lands to Rail in the other game, who sends a super pass who fakes out Hayate and looks to see Charles, who had been fired up thanks to Rin, does a Rabona cross to Rin and Barou. Rin runs for the ball, with the ball going above Akatsuki, and Nagi looks to see Isagi, who tries to stop him. With Barou close near, but Rin jumps in the air and Nagi does so with his free stage fake volley on the right. They both score insane volleys, equalizing the game 2-2, and for Nagi winning his game 3-1. Nagi and Rayo get ready to leave as they look up at the monitor showing Loki and Noah arrive in the pitch for the master sub time. But Noah brings someone else, not Igaguri because he is eliminated, but the only original U20 Japan member on this team, Neotepe. He would come in for a tired Corona and Noah for Ali. Noah and Isagi trade passes with Loki, speed rushing Isagi to steal the ball from him, who uses God Warp to transcend past Hiyori and send a killer pass to Rin to finish off the game, but Nero comes in with his lightning speed reflexes to steal the ball from Rin and sends it to Noah. Barou and Charles would then press Noah, but he sends it to Kaiser, who sends it back to Noah. Isagi wants to join Noah, but sends it to Kaiser, revealing the only reason he came to the NEL was for Kaiser, who blitzes through everyone to score the final goal, again showing why he is the #1 striker. But Loki instantly stops the shot, which lands on the ground perfectly for Kaiser to complete the Kaiser Impact Magnus. Kaiser takes it, but Loki stops it again, calling it too slow. Karusu receives the ball and headers it to Barou, who gets triple pressed, so he passes it to Charles and tells him to give him the ball back. Kaiser intercepts the pass, but it goes instead to Rin, who rushes through Birkenstock, Hiyori, and Mensa. Nero comes in trying to get the ball again, but Rin is ready this time. He uses Nero's speed against him and scores a vicious goal to win the game for PXG 3-2. This would make PXG the NEL champions. Wow, what a video, man. I may have to make a part 4 for this when we have enough U20 World Cup content to work with. But for now, stay blessed, Dookie out.